Professor Laura, and I'm here to talk to you about Unit 10 and asking permission. This is English 3. We're going to work on pages 76 through 80. Let's get started. To lend. To lend. You let someone use something of yours, so you give it to someone else. To borrow. To borrow means you use something and then you return it. People can borrow a pencil or a pen. May I borrow a pencil or a pen? All right, let's fill in the blanks with lend or borrow to complete the request. Remember, lend means you give it to someone else. Borrow means someone gives it to you. First one, could you lend me a suitcase? Well, they'll go on vacation. They'll bring back the suitcase, so they'll have it for, a week or whatever. That sounds good. May I borrow one of your books? May I borrow? Can you lend me a cup of sugar? Now that one's a little weird because once the sugar's gone, you're probably not going to be replacing it, but we still say lend. Might we borrow some money from you? Might we borrow some money from you? May I borrow a tent for my camping trip? May I borrow a tent for my camping trip? I borrow. Can you lend us a drill? Can you lend us a drill? Could I borrow a table for my party? Could I borrow a table for my party? May I borrow your truck on moving day? May I borrow your truck on moving day? Now notice, I borrow, you lend me. I borrow, you lend me. Okay. So take a look at the answers there. Vocabulary, page 76. To move, to relocate. That means you're going somewhere else. I moved 5 blocks to my new apartment last year. To be free, to have free time. Are you free on Sunday means do you have free time on Sunday? Listen to the dialogue and repeat. Julie and Paul are talking about the fact that Julie is moving and she needs some help. May I ask you a question? First, just listen. May I ask you a question? Of course. What is it? Could you help us move on Saturday? Carl said he would help, but now is busy all weekend. I might be free. What time are you moving? We will start in the morning. Then it's no problem. I have to work in the evening, but I'm available during the day. Great. We really appreciate it. You can count on me. What time should I show up? You can count on me says I will do what you have asked. You can depend on me. I will do what I promise. As early as possible. There's a lot to move. Okay. Just so you know, when you ask someone to help you move, when you're done, you give them sodas, you give them pizza, you feed them in exchange for their work. Or you can hire a moving service. But you can ask friends. May I ask you a question? Listen and repeat. May I ask you a question? Of course. What is it? Could you help us move on Saturday? Carl said he would help, but now is busy all weekend. I might be free. What time are you moving? We will start in the morning. Then it's no problem. I have to work in the evening, but I am available during the day. Great. We really appreciate it. You can count on me. What time should I show up? As early as possible. There's a lot to move. Okay, well, let's look at the present and past modals. You can, could, might, may, could, would, should. Okay. Modals are when you're talking about what could happen, what should happen, asking permission like may and might. Okay, these are modals and they're present in past. Can is present, could is past, may is present, might is actually kind of future, will start, and would. Okay, kind of past tense. Shall and should. All right, so let's look at these. Listen and repeat. You can count on me. Could you help us move on Saturday? May I ask you a question? I might be free. We will start in the morning. Carl said he would help. What time should I show up? All right, can. Ability. He can play the piano well. Permission. Can I borrow your pen? You can sleep at our house. Permission is am I allowed to do this, or could you let me do this? Possibility. It means it might or might not happen. Walking at night can be dangerous. May. Okay. Permission. May I be excused from the table? You may have another cookie. Okay, then possibility. The store may be closed on Sunday. Remember, might is the past tense. Okay, we're going to get to that in a minute. Future, will. I will call you as soon as I arrive. Suggestion is shall. Shall we dance? Shall I open a window? Future, I shall look forward to seeing you again. Okay, we go from informal, can, down to formal. Informal is talking with your friends and close family members. Formal is you're getting to like your great grandmother or the boss or the president of your company. And oftentimes, at least in American English, we use the more formal terms. British people do the same thing when they're making a joke. They make it more formal so that people will laugh. Okay, so can, may, will. Shall is old-fashioned. We don't use it very often. It's very, very formal, or you're using it as a joke. Shall we go? And use it with a little British accent, and then everyone laughs. It's kind of used as a joke a lot of the time. All right. Use of past forms of modals. Once again, we're going from the informal, can, may, to formal, will, and shall. Past form. Can becomes could, may becomes might, will becomes would, shall becomes should. Past ability. I could do cartwheels when I was younger. Cartwheels means you're able to go down on your hands and then over on your feet. Permission. Could you lend me some money until next week? You could have a seat while you wait. Possibility. We could take a taxi instead of walking. Permission. Might I have a taste of your pie? Your speech might persuade the council. Persuade, that means you make someone believe something that you believe, or you understand or think something you understand or something you think. All right, will and would, future from past. The owner of the building said it would be torn down later. Now, when you said or believed, you're talking about the past. You may or may not believe that now, or the person said that in the past. So the owner of the building said it would be torn down later. We believe that he would soon realize his mistake. Possibility. Choosing a leader would help our situation. Obligation. You should follow the commander's orders. The roast beef should be done by now. That's a possibility. It should be done by now. It means you think the roast beef is done. It takes a while to cook. Okay. Now we are looking at things that you could borrow. Okay, so we'll look at that for a minute. Okay, so uh, could think about this and just make a sentence to yourself. Could I borrow your earphones? Could I borrow your colored pens? Could I borrow your camera? Could I borrow your notebook? You can also say it more formal. Would you lend me your eyeglasses? Would you lend me your backpack? Okay, so you can just practice these. It will help you with your test. So you're going to take turns asking for things. Can, could, may I borrow your something? Can, could you lend me your? I borrow, you lend me. Remember this is very important for your test. Now when you say, so may I borrow your pen? Can I borrow your eraser? Could you lend me your glasses? Okay. Permission is yes, of course. Yes, here you are. Sure, no problem. Now, refusing permission, that's when you say no. Okay, no, I don't have one. No, I don't have any. Sorry, I'm afraid you can't. Sorry, I'm using it or them right now. Okay, so let's practice a few of these. Could I borrow your pen? Yes, of course. May I borrow your eraser? Yes, here you are. Could you lend me your watch? Sure, no problem. Could you lend me your phone? No, I don't have one. That's probably a lie. You probably have a phone. Okay, could I borrow your book? Sorry, I'm afraid you can't. Could I borrow your car? That's a dangerous one. Sorry, I'm using it. I'm sorry I'm using them right now. All right, Andy is planning a camping trip and he's going alone. You're going to announce his plans and warn of possible consequences. I'll go camping by myself. Now you're going to talk about something that could happen. You could get lost. I'll set up a tent by myself. You could break it. I'll build a fire by myself. You could start a forest fire. I'll pick berries by myself. You could get sick. I'll go canoeing by myself. You could drown. I'll go walking in the woods by myself. You could get insect bites. Okay. Now the person who's replying is really depressing. But go ahead and practice these. I'll go camping by myself. You could get lost. Okay. All right, the rowing team is trying to create money for a competition. They have to go to the competition, so they have to pay for everyone to go on the bus or the train wherever they're going. Take turns asking what each athlete said she would do to help. What will Maisie do? She said she would create a website. What will Patricia do? She said she would plan a kids' day. Listen and repeat. What will Anna do? She said she would write letters for support. What will Jinhee do? She said she would design a calendar to sell. What will Brenda do? She said she would arrange a bake sale. What will Edith do? She said she would set up a car wash. What will Lori do? She said she would organize a rowing challenge. What will Violet do? She said she would sell club t-shirts. Okay, practice these. Be sure you understand the vocabulary. Self-practice. Complete the short conversations with the past form of the modals in parentheses. Listen, repeat, and write. Okay. I am confused. This homework is impossible. We could do it together. I need a pen to fill out this form. I could lend you mine. I am worried about you. Sorry, I should call you more often. Where's Jerry? He might be in his office. What would you do? I would wait for her. With whom will you meet tomorrow? I should meet with the Chancellor. I shall meet with the Chancellor. Well, I should meet with the Chancellor. Tomorrow it's I shall. Do you think our friends miss us? They might think of us now and then. They might think of us now and then. Is Christine at home? She might be. She could be. I'm not sure. She could be. I'm not sure. I wonder whom they might choose. They will choose Anthony, or they would choose Anthony. Okay, let's look. Here are your answers. Here are your answers to the self-practice, page 79. Could, should, might, would, should, might, could, would. Classroom activity 1. Thoughts about the future. You're going to talk about what you think will happen in the future. Do you think sea levels will keep rising? I don't think they will. They could. I'm not sure. Yes, they definitely will. For me, yes, they definitely will. The governments need to cut down their use of oil and to use more uh, fossil things that are not fossil fuels, like uh, the power from the sun, solar energy or wind energy. Do you think men and women will earn equal pay? I think they will, because women are getting very tired of receiving less money than men. They are fighting very hard. Men are realizing that men and women have the same brains and there's no reason why they shouldn't earn equal pay. Do you think extreme poverty will be eliminated? I don't think it will. The reason why is I think we're humans. And we're not very good at helping other people on a worldwide basis. I hope this changes. I hope we feed everyone, that everyone has a house and food and water and school, that all of those are true for everyone, but we haven't gotten there yet. Do you think people will travel to other planets? Yes, I believe we will go to Mars and the moon. The moon is actually a sister planet. And the other planets are going to be a lot harder. But I think it will be about 100 years, but we will keep doing it. Do you think industries will use only clean energy? No, I don't think so. I think it will get better and better. And as the costs go down with clean energy, eventually, finally, we will get off of oil. Do you think healthcare will be more widely available? To be honest, before coronavirus, I thought the answer would be no, but I think that this virus exposes the fact we must have universal health care, because Diseases don't care if you're rich or poor. Everyone should be treated, everyone should get the testing they need so that everyone is able to stay safe and not get sick. Do you think the foods people eat will be the same as today? No, I don't. Because people will move into space and they will change some of the foods they eat because they will eat food that is more and more healthy. Do you think that coral reefs will survive? They could. We're in a very dangerous space right now as a species. We need to save our environment in order to save ourselves. Do you think that universities will operate mostly online? Well, that's a very good question, and as a professor, I think I can answer that. I think eventually, over time, more and more universities will operate online. Some universities will have to do things in person, like labs. If you were learning anything medical, you generally have to be in some sort of lab doing the work. Uh, for things like programming, uh, you may not have to be physically there. For things like robotics, you need to physically be in a lab making the robots move. So the answer to that is I think it will be kind of a mix of the two. We're going to have to do a lot of future work. Okay, so what I want you to do is really look at this. Really look at this. What do you think? Do you think men and women will earn equal pay? Do you think that extreme poverty will be eliminated? Do you think that people will travel to other planets? Do you think that industries will use only clean energy? Do you think that healthcare will be more widely available? Do you think the foods that people eat will be the same as today in the future? Do you think that the coral reefs will survive? Do you think that universities will operate mostly online? Think about the future and answer the questions. Just say them. You don't have to write them. Just think about your answers. Okay, let's go back a little bit and look here. So you need to know the past tense of could, can, shall, all those sort of things. You need to say what people said they would do, because this will probably be on either the speaking test or the writing test. She said she would. He, she, whatever said she or he would. Okay? I'll something, and then something that could happen. You could. Practice using this picture. Practice talking about borrowing or lending the items in this backpack to someone else. Can I borrow an eraser? Yes, you can. And remember your answers. Yes, of course. Yes, here you are. Sure, no problem. No, I don't have one. Sorry, I'm afraid you can't. Sorry, I'm using it now. Now, one of the ways the test is that there is an answer and you have to think of the question. Okay? So it's when you see on the test, no, I don't have one, they're trying to borrow something. May I borrow your pencil? May I borrow your pen? You need to know both the questions and the answers for your writing test. Okay, so practice using this to talk about things that someone could borrow. Or you can lend it to someone else. I could lend you my eraser. Now, the one thing you're probably not going to let someone else borrow is your computer. You're probably not going to want to let someone else do that. On the top, those things in the middle are called post-it notes or flags. They're what you put in books or your notes to show that something is very important. Okay. The green thing on the side is called a highlighter. Highlighters are usually found in orange, green, and yellow and pink, and they're used to denote in your work whether or not something's important. Most of all, understand your grammar focus, informal to formal. Can and may are informal, will and shall are formal. Know this page. Great job, guys. When we come back, we're going to go over the next page. We're going to be on page 80 during our next session. Thank you and have a wonderful day.